Understanding and Recognizing the Symptoms of Mesothelioma by Francisco Rodriguez. Mesothelioma less than http://www.mesotheliomaattorneyfreeconsultation.com greater than cancer is a type of cancer that attacks the lungs and chest cavity. Also known as asbestos lung cancer, it forms deadly tumors where mesothelial cancer cells form a protective lining over the lungs, heart, and abdominal organs. It is a type of lung cancer that takes many years to develop and produce symptoms. Roughly 3,000 cases per year, mostly men over the age of 40, are reported. It is estimated that number will grow to about 300,000 cases before 2030. Types of mesothelioma. Asbestos cancer. Epithelial mesothelioma is a rare and fatal form of cancer affecting the membrane lining of the chest cavity, heart, lungs, and abdominal cavity. There are three forms of epithelial mesothelioma. The most common is pleural mesothelioma, the second most common, peritoneal mesothelioma, accounting for only a quarter of the cases, and the rarest form, pericardial mesothelioma. Pleural mesothelioma. The most common type of this disease involves the pleural, a thin membrane located between the lungs and the chest cavity. The pleural provide a lubricated surface so that the lungs do not rub and chafe against the chest walls. There are two types of pleural mesothelioma, the first being diffuse and malignant. This type is cancerous and is generally fatal within a year of diagnosis. The second type is localized and benign and is generally non-life-threatening. It can usually be removed through surgery. Lung lining cancer is not to be confused with lung cancer. In lung lining cancer, the affected area of the body is called the mesothelium, a thin membrane that covers many of the internal organs of the body. The mesothelium of the lungs is called the pleural. Lung lining cancer is also sometimes called mesothelioma after the area in which it occurs. This thin membrane is comprised of two layers, one that surrounds the organ and another that forms an exterior sac around the first layer. Between the layers of the mesothelium is a fluid that allows vital organs to glide easily against objects that come in contact with them. Localized pleural mesothelioma is not always caused by asbestos exposure. However, if it has spread to other parts of the body, for instance lymph nodes, lungs, chest wall, or abdominal organs, then it is considered malignant and is more often than not the result of asbestos exposure. Peritoneal mesothelioma appears as a tumor in the peritoneum membrane of the abdomen. This type of mesothelioma is very rare, comprising less than a fourth of all known cases of the disease. There are no effective treatments for this condition, and most patients live less than a year after diagnosis. Mesenteric cancer is likened to peritoneal cancer mesothelioma. This cancer primarily affects the sections of the peritoneum that attach different organs to the wall of the abdominal cavity, i.e. mesogastrium for the stomach, mesojejunum for the jejunum. Mesenteric cancer includes all abdominal peritoneal extensions. Tumors rarely originate in the actual mesentery, though it is a frequent route for the spread of mesothelioma through the abdominal cavity. Pericardial mesothelioma is the rarest form of mesothelioma, affecting the membrane around the heart called the pericardium or pericardial sac. In this disease, solid masses and effusion fluid develop around the pericardium. Not all effusions are strictly related to mesothelioma. In the course of respiration system, the air is taken in, get purified in lungs, and once again the contaminated blood filled with carbon dioxide is taken out. In the course of the mentioned purification process, if any small or even microscopic particles are inhaled unexpectedly, then those debris can't come out effortlessly from lungs handling or caught within the mesothelium. If such particles debris get accrued in big quantity in lungs, then it causes a lot of lungs-related or cardiothoracic problems. In numerous cases it eventually results in cancer, known as mesothelioma. Mesothelioma is the infrequent cancer kind that occurs because of asbestos exposure. It's got an effect on the liner of the lungs and abdominal cavity. Mesothelioma is a deadly illness with a mean survival time of simply 12 months following diagnosis. Your survival rate may easily increase if it is diagnosed early. Mesothelioma litigations in Baltimore offer you an opportunity to file a case against a party that's accountable on your situation. No just one expects go to hospital following working with a firm that use asbestos within the manufacturing process. No one wish to handle an expensive lawyer in courtroom as it will take time, energy, productiveness, not pointed out losses in all probability that would make employees pay additional money to organizations who employ their situation much more over whether it is associated with asbestos mesothelioma case before. The courts claim mesothelioma is a malignant tumor of the mesothelium, the result of publicity to asbestos fibers. There is several fundamental details just one ought to be mindful of if he is thinking about pursuing an asbestos mesothelioma lawsuit. Previous to pursuing a lawsuit, he ought to search advice from a respectable mesothelioma lawyer for a better comprehension of mesothelioma law. A mesothelioma lawsuit gives you just one with enough compensation that will assist cover his legal, medical, and ongoing bills related to the mesothelioma cancer. Symptoms of mesothelioma may not materialize until 30 to 50 years after exposure to asbestos. Shortness of breath and pain in the chest due to an accumulation of fluid in the pleural are often symptoms of pleural mesothelioma. Symptoms of peritoneal mesothelioma include weight loss and abdominal pain and swelling because of a buildup of fluid in the abdomen. Other symptoms of peritoneal mesothelioma may include bowel obstruction, blood clotting abnormalities, anemia, and fever. If the cancer has spread beyond the mesothelium to other parts of the body, symptoms may include pain, difficulty swallowing, or swelling of the neck or face. These symptoms may be caused by mesothelioma or by other, less serious conditions. It is important to see a doctor about any of these symptoms. Only a doctor can make the diagnosis. Once mesothelioma is diagnosed, the likelihood of recovery varies according to several factors, including the size and location of the tumor, how much it has spread, and the age of the patient. In general, the earlier that mesothelioma is diagnosed, the greater the likelihood of survival. If you feel that you have experienced any of the typical mesothelioma symptoms, pay a visit to your doctor for professional advice. What are mesothelioma lawsuits and just how do they arise? $5 million continues to be recovered from your mesothelioma litigation filed on behalf of a 70-year-old man who passed far away from malignant mesothelioma. The man was exposed to mesothelioma causing asbestos at work. His profession called for fitting asbestos that contains ceiling tiles. He breathed in asbestos fibers launched by the tiles every day. The fibers have been launched whenever he reduced and in good shape the tiles. In addition, he was also exposed to asbestos from working alongside drywall installers who produced asbestos dust from using only asbestos that contains joint compound. Is mesothelioma curable? The straight answer to this query is no. Well, you will find drugs and treatments that assist in easing the pain sensation and should aid to extend life, however these remedies aren't sufficient to save life. Mesothelium refers back to the wrapping structure of nearly all of the bodily organs in our system, and mesothelioma is the cancer that occurs in mesothelium. It has been reported that deaths attributable to mesothelioma cancer in England is increasing. According to at least one estimate, 2,249 men and women died from malignant mesothelioma in 2008, whereas 2,156 died from the sickness from 2006 to 2008. Northeastern England was the geographic area with the very best incidence of mesothelioma deaths. The male demise rate was 1 per million. Southeastern England adopted having a male death rate of 74 deaths per million people. The asbestos cancer mesothelioma is a threat to the lives of many Navy veterans. This really is as the Navy used asbestos-containing items extensively. Several instances of asbestos-containing goods are gaskets, adhesives, cables and valves. The areas of a ship wherever asbestos may have been present are several and take on boiler rooms, mess halls, engine rooms and navigation rooms. Ships involved a too high risk of asbestos exposure due to many areas on board ships are closed, which means that asbestos fibers can't escape. As such, asbestos fibers on board the ship are likely to be dealt with by ship personnel. You or a loved one has just been diagnosed with mesothelioma. Your mind and emotions are on a roller coaster ride, not understanding much if anything about this deadly cancer, and never knowing wherever to show for mesothelioma monetary help. There is a sis in the storm. Listed here are many methods to locate mesothelioma monetary aid whenever you require it after being diagnosed with mesothelioma. Mesothelioma is a deadly cancer that's the result of exposure to asbestos fibers, and this cancer can cut lifespan to a point of months from the onset of symptoms. Over recent years, the amount of mesothelioma instances coming to light has risen quite dramatically, as well as in line with this, the amount of mesothelioma litigations being filed has also increased. Due to mesothelioma lawsuits became such huge business, a lot law firms and lawyers now specialize during this area, generating it simpler for all those affected by this disease to obtain the legal assistance they have to file a mesothelioma lawsuit. Francisco Rodriguez about the author, mesothelioma attorney http://www.mesotheliomaattorneyfreeconsultation.com how to find a good one.